Good start. All right.
Good start.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AFC EASTIE BOYZ. Cat in the Hat and Musho Face going to give you great insight into the NFL world with fantasy tips and our personal opinions on all your favorite players. You pick the player and we'll talk about him. Who you looking to see in the Super Bowl this year, going all the way to the championship?
On today's edition, we're going to cover quarterbacks. Our top five, our personal opinion, and who's going to get you those fantasy points that everybody craves. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the number one quarterback? Who's going to be your number one quarterback in the draft this year? I don't know. Today we'll figure that out. Obviously, we're pretty new to this. It's our first episode. My boy Musho Face, Cat in the Hat. I'm a Dolphin fan. He's a Jets fan.
We don't really know any Buffalo fans, so they probably won't have too many of them on here.
Definitely not. Definitely not. We're going to be kicking those Buffalo to the streets this year. I bet they're not even going to be able to beat the New England Patriots.
Nah. The Buffalo, they'll have a chance against the Patriots, but they ain't going to beat us.
No, definitely not going to beat either one of these teams here. Definitely not. All right, so I'm a father of three. I have a beautiful wife, a couple jobs, avid football fan. Love doing fantasy football, so that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about some fantasy football. What about you?
Single bachelor, living at home, got my own place, got my own job, working great, having a good time. I'm just here to have a little fun and talk about football myself.
Yeah, alright, so let's jump right into it. We're going to start with our number one consensus on quarterbacks. Would you like to start, or you want me to go ahead and start?
Go ahead.
Alright, so obviously for my number one pick, my opinion is going to be Patrick Mahomes. There's really no question about it right now. Who else can you choose to be number one? I mean, last year alone, he had a quarterback rating of 105.2, over 5,000 passing yards, 41 touchdowns on just 12 interceptions. And that's even losing his number one wide receiver. A lot of talks going into last year, like, oh, is he going to be able to perform without Tyreek Hill, And I think he came out last year and he really proved that he's the number one quarterback in the league right now. I mean, that man can do some things that, like, I've never seen. Just, like, it's amazing. And y'all all have seen it. Everybody's seen it. So, yeah, he's definitely my number one quarterback right now.
Well, if we're talking number one, I guess I got to go with Jalen Hurts myself. Kid's got a 101.5 passer rating, 22 touchdowns last year, only 6 interceptions. He's a winner. The kid's a winner. He goes out there with his heart on his sleeve. He doesn't get upset when he starts to lose. He doesn't throw tantrums like some of these other QBs out here. He's out there just leaving it all on the field. Does great. Good stats, good repertoire, and a winning team.
Yeah, they did do well last year. Too bad they didn't win the Super Bowl. They got another easy road this year going towards the Super Bowl, though, so it should be fun watching them make another playoff run, another run to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, he's still young. He's still a rookie. What is this? This is going to be his 4th year in the league?
Yeah, 4th year.
It's going to be real interesting. You think he's going to do better than Patrick Mahomes?
That'll be the two quarterbacks to watch most of the season, I feel.
Because it's funny. It's funny that you chose Jalen Hurts as your number one because I chose him as my number two. Yeah, I mean, the upside that this kid has with his feet is just, it's ridiculous. He could throw the ball, deep, too. It's not just, like, little short, quick, intermediate passes. Like, they proved it last year by throwing the ball deep, getting those big yardage, those big chunk plays. That's what we want to see. That's what we definitely want to see. I mean, they have a pretty easy road over there in the NFC. with not much going on. I mean, they are in the hardest division, I would say, like conference in their division, with the Cowboys and the Vikings and the Giants. So, but other than that, they got a pretty easy route. And that's my number 2. So it's pretty funny that was your number 1.
Yeah, for my number 2, I also went with another young guy. Kind of hasn't been in the league very long. Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars. Don't get me wrong, he's getting a lot of flack. He doesn't have a lot of weapons to utilize in Jacksonville, but they're building. They're building still.
Well, they get Christian Kirk back this year, right? Yes.
I think so. And that'll be another asset for him as far as giving him somebody to throw the ball to. Jacksonville's been a little sluggish the last couple of years, despite the fact that they have such a young star on their team. The man only threw 8 interceptions with 25 touchdowns last year, a 95.2 rating on his arm. That's not too bad. His completions is 66.3%. It could be a little bit better, but hey, I mean, that's better than some of the guys out there.
There's another guy they got. He was Calvin Ridley. He was suspended. They picked him up last year, but he was suspended because of the betting that went on.
Oh yeah, wasn't he in Atlanta?
Yeah, he was in Atlanta. So like they're gonna have him available next year as well to utilize in the passing game. So like Travis Etienne Jr., Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley over there. Like they're gonna make a good run to the playoffs. Definitely gonna make a good run to the playoffs. But that's about as far as they're gonna go. That's about as far as they're gonna go. What else you got over there? So, number 3 was hard. It was very close between the next 2 quarterbacks that I'm gonna do. It was a very close call. I'm doing all this based on the coming year, not like the previous year. But for my number 3, I'm gonna have to go with Joe Burrow. He's just a machine right now. Nothing has really changed in the Cincinnati offense as far as the receiving core goes. It looks like it's all going to stay the same going into next year. And he put up great numbers last year. He didn't miss any football. He put up 44.75 for yardage and like 35 touchdowns. It's crazy. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and who's that big guy they got over there? Tyler Boyd.
That's a monster too.
That's a good trio.
My number 3 is going to have to be Justin Herbert, actually. He's been in the league a little bit now, since 2020. It was listed as the 12th best-selling jersey to start that season, too. How about that? It's a funny stat.
12th best-selling jersey.
12th best-selling jersey. Let's see. Last year was... He threw three touchdowns for 279 yards in the season opener against the Vegas Raiders for their first. It was the first season as the Las Vegas Raiders, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. He did get hurt in the game in the fourth quarter, and despite a late touchdown, the Chargers would go to lose that game. But I don't know. He's just one of those guys that like you want to see do good. The 2021 season, he broke the franchise record with 5,014 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. He also had 63 carries for 302 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns, leading the Chargers to a 9-8 record in his first career Pro Bowl. But he became the first quarterback in that franchise history to throw for at least 5,000 yards in a single season, which was unheard of in Chargers history.
Yo, no, he's breaking some records early, and like what I was telling you earlier, like what really impressed me was that game that they played last year to make it into the playoffs, where like he injured his ribs and like played through that game, and like he kept going out there despite the fact that like he probably should not have been out on that field. But that showed a lot of guts and a lot of grit, man. Kind of makes me upset that we could have had him like after seeing that, but like I still like Tua. I'm still a Tua fan. Because Tua's done sort of the same thing, but if he had a broken rib, I don't know if he'd still be going out there pushing and pushing and pushing. Well, here comes the rain.
That's like him deciding that he didn't really have much of a choice if he wanted to make a name for himself. He had to stay out there.
Bro, we got to get into these playoffs. I got to get my ass out there on this field right now.
We don't win this game and it's over for us.
Nope. End of the season for you guys. What do you think they're gonna do this year? I haven't looked at their schedule yet. I know they don't play us, so they're lucky there. Although they beat us last year, fuckers, them fuckers.
I actually haven't looked much at the schedules yet, but I'll be looking at those in the next couple of seconds.
Coming days, because we got fantasy football coming up soon. I don't know about anybody else, but I know my team's got training camps coming up at the end of this month and the beginning of next month. I'll be there for a few of them. It's going to be fun. We got Members Day on August 4th, and then the day afterwards we got, it's like a stadium practice and stuff. Super dope. Super dope. Let's look at their schedule. See, it's going to be fun watching the Dolphins and the Jets battling it out for the AFC East this year.
December 17th, I'm going to the game. You know I'll be there.
You already know I'll be there.
Got my tickets. I'm bringing the moms down. She's a big Dolphins fan, but that's okay. We won't hold that against her. I don't hold it against this guy. Why should I hold it against moms?
Here he is in South Florida talking about holding it against us. We don't hold it against him. We don't hold it against him.
So the Jets will be opening up the season in September 11th against the Buffalo Bills. So we're going to have to start with Justin Allen and
Here comes Justin Allen, yeah. Justin Allen, that little fuck.
Josh Allen. Justin Allen.
Here comes the boom. Start with it.
He's just in for this evening.
Just in time for the first loss of his season.
Exactly. Buffalo going down game 1. I'm putting my 2 cents there.
We need to find out about Breece Hall. We need to make sure Breece Hall is going to be good to go by week 1. We'll know that. By the second game of preseason.
Yeah, we'll get to see him live in action for the first game, probably the first quarter even of that game. Maybe just a couple of runs just to show him off a little bit. But then we'll put him back in the holster, and then we'll wait till the season to bust him out.
Oh, so yeah, we do play the Chargers this year. We open up against the Chargers. In SoFi Stadium, a 4:25 game. I thought so. All right, so back to the quarterbacks. Back to what y'all came here for. Y'all want to hear about these quarterbacks, our personal top 5, and then we will go over
we got number
who
4
will be best for fantasy football. My 4th pick, Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, Lamar.
He's
a local boy.
Lamar Jackson, local boy from Boynton down here, South Florida. Anyways, he's got a lot of upside using the running game. He's been working on his arm. His arm has been getting better each year. Like his first year coming out, like his arm was trash. He couldn't throw the ball 30 yards to save his life. And like the only thing that was so good about him was his upside with his running game. And Baltimore's always been a good run team. Like they've always been run heavy, run fast, run hard straight down the middle, and kick their ass. So it kind of fit well, but he's been working on his arm, and with the addition of OBJ over there on the outside, I think their trip to the playoffs got a little bit easier. Let's just see if he can stay healthy all year. I think he should be okay. He hasn't really had an accident problem. Just last year he did. I think that was more like towards the financial stuff, like, because he was dealing with that contract and shit going on, so it's like, let me sit out this year, that way I know I'm healthy for next year. He got his contract, he's coming back, he's got OBJ to throw the ball to, he's going to come out, he might make a run for MVP, so watch out for that.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep your eyes on Lamar. He's a spry guy. He's a runner quarterback, so you never know if he's gonna stay in the pocket and throw the ball, or if he's gonna dart in the wrong direction and take off running. You got to keep your eyes on him because he's wily. My number 4 is gonna be Mr. Aaron Rodgers. He's been around for a while, veteran QB, my own personal QB for this year. So we'll see how long he sticks around in New York.
You got him for 2 years.
New York's been a little hectic with our QB. We've been on a search for quite some time. I'm glad to have...
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm actually glad
that
the Darnold
didn't work out too well for you.
I bought this jersey thinking, hey, we got our guy, and that didn't really pan out that way. So, good luck to him in his next adventure. Where's he, down in Carolina now? Carolina, he's with the Panthers
he's
now.
Not even a starter.
Back up, hey, back up.
Back up.
Take a seat, sir.
Back
Watch
up,
the game,
sir.
learn
up.
something, and when
Back
you get your chance
up.
to shine, do the best you can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But no, we're gonna go back to Aaron Rodgers. He's got a consistent passer rating for the last almost 20 years. Look at this, since 2012. A good 10 years, 11 years of 108, 104, 112, 92, 97, 97, 95, 121, and with a 91.1 last year.
That 121 was his MVP year.
Yeah,
his last MVP year.
2020. Again, all of that with the Packers. So we'll see what happens in New York this year. I got my hopes set high. Ambition is out there. The man looking like he's having a good time in all the training videos I've seen. He's been having a lot of fun in New York.
Yeah.
Let alone
scary. I ain't even gonna lie, it's scary.
Keeping people entertained. That's for sure.
Last year, like being a Dolphins fan, knowing that we were going to be coming into this year in control of the AFC East.
With what you thought was the best quarterback in the AFC East.
And now we have Aaron Rodgers on a Jets team. Now we have to deal with a Jets team that last year was literally only a quarterback away.
We had all the weapons to throw and run, to catch and run the ball, but we didn't have anyone throwing.
And now they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. And I need to plug this bad boy in. That's one thing I didn't think of. Take it away when I do with this.
Yeah, for sure. Aaron Charles Rodgers, as a matter of fact. What a great name. He won his first MVP, in 2011? Yeah, 2011. Packers and Rodgers didn't schedule unofficial offseason workouts, despite many teams doing so. Let's see, let's skip to some of the newer stuff. The State Farm BS. That was always fun. He's on a lot of stuff right now, as far as
them State Farm commercials, boy. Them State Farm commercials, where it's at.
All the money he's making is
Patrick
crazy.
Mahomes
He doesn't even need any of the money from actually playing the sport. Let's see. 3-time FedEx Air NFL Player of the Year in 2010, 2014, and 2020. A 19-time NFC Offensive Player of the Week, 10-time NFC Offensive Player of the Month. And now he's going to be all attacking in the AFC. It's going to be AFC Player of the Week, AFC Player of the Month, AFC Quarterback of the Century.
So he says.
We'll see.
So he says.
He'll get the Bart Starr Award in New York.
In New York. No, I ain't gonna lie. It is kind of scary having him in New York over there with the Jets. Throwing to Garrett Wilson on the outside. Breece Hall running the ball. Yeah, that rhymed. I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened naturally.
Write that one down.
Breece Hall running the ball. Get it, son. We just go with the flow here. That's how we roll.
The bow.
The bow.
Yeah, no, okay, so my handwriting's a little shit.
Alright, so that runs out four of the top 5. And being a Dolphin fan that I am, die hard, I had to go with Tua for number 5. Lucky I didn't put him at number 1, but he hasn't played a full season yet, so until that happens, I can't justify putting him that high up on my list. But based on his performance when he is on that field and the energy that he brings to the Dolphins, like, he goes in my top 5 for sure. I mean, like, he was, last year, the games that he played, he was the most accurate quarterback in the league, even over Patrick Mahomes. So, like...
Completions are completions.
Not saying he's better. Don't fucking go attacking me on Twitter and all that bullshit. Go ahead. Go for it. I love the attention. Anyways.
Do you even have a Twitter?
No. Maybe. I do. I just don't go on and check it, so it's useless. Go on and attack me. Go ahead. But no, like, he's accurate.
Attack him right here on Twitch in the comments section.
There you go. No, he's very accurate. He brings a high energy to the team. I mean, like, super, super energy to the team. Very accurate. He can throw the ball down the field despite the fact that a lot of people, when he came into the league, said that he couldn't throw the ball at all. He's kind of proven them wrong. I think our biggest struggle right now is definitely going to be keeping him healthy in the off season. He definitely put in the work to make himself bigger, stronger, learn how to fall better. He looks a lot bigger too. He probably put on about 20 pounds in the off season.
You think they're going to protect him a little bit better this year, thinking they might get a little farther without him getting hurt?
Oh, we definitely. Well, we also have a better backup quarterback too. Like last year, our
Who you guys got as a backup?
Your old guy, Mike White.
Oh man, that's right, Mr. White from New York. Yeah, he was not a bad backup.
He's not a bad backup compared to Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater. I mean, it's pretty much an upgrade.
That is a 100% upgrade.
Yeah.
No offense to Teddy.
Yeah, no offense, Teddy, but like, if you would have actually went out there to play 2 of those 6 games that you went out there to play and won, we would have been a higher seed and we wouldn't have had to play Buffalo in round 1. Good job, Teddy. I hope you like your new job over there, wherever that may be.
Wherever that may be. What about Tua's arm? I mean, he's... What about Tua's arm?
What about it? Yeah, hold on.
Is it going to get hurt anytime soon? Is it going to crumple? Or which one was that he did have the video of him getting hurt? Deep pass. There you go. Yeah, let's see something from Tua's arm here. We haven't used that little feature yet. This is gonna be above your head.
Tell me Tua don't got no damn arm. Woo! Look at that. 60 yards for the touchdown.
Lucky that guy fell over. Did he push him? Run that back. That was the old hip hop one at the end.
I think the man tripped.
He almost went out of bounds.
Oh, does he put a peace sign? Nah, not on the Chargers. Not on the Chargers. Oh, that was last year. That's how game one gonna turn out right there. That's how game one gonna turn out right there.
Hill.
That's how game one gonna turn out right there. Remember it.
It's like, is that disrespectful or is it just like, later?
Deuces.
Chucking up the deuces. Do you think the NFL players will get fined for that this year?
No.
Chucking up deuces on motherfuckers?
I hope not.
Putting it right in their face? Bye.
I hope not. So who you got for your number 5?
My number 5, I went with Geno Smith. He bounced around the league for a while. He was a Jet. He was a Giant. He was a Charger. He's landed in Seattle and has found some ground there.
Yeah, it's like he found a second part of his life last year.
For real, 30 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. Only still throwing some decent interceptions, about 11 of them. 100.9 though on the rating, 69% completion. The dude's changing his story, so to speak. He's definitely he was lackluster with the New York Jets. They didn't really know how to utilize him. I guess he's found his breakaway with Seattle. He's competed for Paxton Lynch for the backup job behind Russell Wilson. Now that Wilson's gone, it's free reign. He was comeback player of the year. They re-signed him on April 19th, 2002, but the NFL disapproved of his contract that same day after conducting the league's mandatory review. The issue was eventually resolved, but he's been the starting quarterback for the season opener against the Broncos, the former team that had Russell Wilson now.
Yeah, he's actually doing better with the team that Russell Wilson did with it.
100%.
And then Russell Wilson went to Denver and totally flopped ass. And I thought it was gonna go completely different with Russell Wilson going over there to Denver. I thought it was gonna be the complete opposite of what it turned out to be last year. So I was completely and utterly wrong. That was one of the first things I was wrong about in a while. But yeah.
Everybody assumed he was just going to go over there and be a gunslinger like Peyton Manning was, and get out there and just whip the ball down the field, no consequences, touchdown.
It was not.
That is not how it went down. Sorry there, Wilson, but
let's ride.
Better luck next year. Yeah, you might want to ride onto your next team because. That shit did not work out.
Well, they got Sean Payton this year, so I mean, maybe with the brilliant mind of Sean Payton over there calling plays, I don't know, it could be different. But if Russell Wilson don't come out with that "let's ride," he's actually riding on that horse, man. They're gonna have another rough year.
Yeah, I agree. Meanwhile, Geno Smith re-signed with the Seahawks on a 3-year deal.
They're going to run it back.
For $75 million, and they're going to try and do a repeat season of what they did last year. Maybe with a little extra so they don't end up losing in the wild card round.
Yeah, that was a tough loss for them. They made a really good run last year, and they're in a very easy division with the NFC. I would probably rank them number 3, number 4 in the NFC right now, because you got the Eagles and the 49ers are like right there at the top of the NFC. I don't know. Like, I want to say 49ers because their defense is just way more solid. They got Christian McCaffrey over there now.
Yeah, what a runner he is.
And not only that, like the utilization that Christian McCaffrey has is like way beyond just a running back.
Oh yeah, catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can block the ball. The man's got all the things. He can do it all.
And it's like they got Deebo Samuel and they got George Kittle and then they got Bosa and like it's just that's a nasty team over there. And like who's gonna be their quarterback though? That's the question. Who's going to be their quarterback? Is Brock Purdy going to be ready? Is he going to be ready for the start of the season? I don't know.
They still have Garoppolo?
They let Garoppolo go.
They got rid of him?
Garoppolo, yeah. He's over in, where did he go? I think he went to Atlanta. Not 100%
I believe that's facts, because they ditched Matt Ryan, right? Finally. No offense to Matt Ryan, dude, but
check that.
You can't lose.
He went to the Raiders. He went to the Raiders. That's right.
Okay, yeah. So he's out there in Vegas now doing his thing.
Fighting for that
welcome to
job.
Vegas, Mr. Garoppolo. Don't get caught betting on the games. They'll suspend you.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. The biggest gambling area in the world. Well, not in the world, but in the United States.
All right. So let's take
and they put a football team there. No gambling.
They have a pretty nice team over there in LA with the Raiders.
The Raiders, what'd they do with Derek Carr? They send him off?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out now.
Yeah, with Hunter Renfrow.
Because I believe Derek Carr is the one that went to
Atlanta.
Spell. There it is. New Orleans. That's why I couldn't think of it because I already had Sean Payton in my head. Yeah, he went to the Saints.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He went to the Saints, which, cause that's good because like.
4-year contract.
I wanted to talk about this.
$150 million.
I wanted to talk about this because, like, the Saints are typically a really good team. Like, they're a good defensive team. I don't think Derek Carr is going to make a difference going into New Orleans. Honestly, this year he probably is going to be one of the bottom 5 quarterbacks going into this season. I'm going to list him as one of the bottom 5 fantasy quarterbacks this year. Yeah, you do have Chris Olave over there, and he is going to get the occasional big yardage touchdown. But the Saints ain't the same team that they used to be. They're not going to be a powerhouse, and Derek Carr has already proved it in Las Vegas that he's not that great quarterback that's going to net you a lot of fantasy points. He's probably good for 10 to 15 a week. I would say 21 on a good week, but more averaging 10 to 15 a week, which definitely really is going to be really on the low side for your quarterbacks.
Yeah, we're looking at quarterbacks that are getting 25 points every week as an average.
Yeah.
So we're looking for the quarterbacks that are going to be hitting 30 to 40 points, getting 4 touchdowns a game.
I think that would quantify him as one of the bottom 5 quarterbacks for fantasy football next year.
He is getting teamed back up with his former head coach, Dennis Allen, who's with the Saints now, as he was with the Raiders from 2012 to 2014, and previously coached for the Broncos during their heyday. But they were going through some struggles during that time too, so I'm not sure how positive that's going to be, getting reunited with another coach that never made it to the playoffs.
Hey, we've tried this once before. Maybe we could try it again and it'll work.
You know, the definition of insanity, right? Repeating the same thing and expecting a different outcome. So we'll see how that all pans out for them. Making the pen, the marker become kind of, you know, the old trick.
No, I thought it was going to start talking to me.
Oh, yeah, it might have.
Insanity.
You never know with insanity. Well, I think that leads us out of our top 5s.
To round it out, so my top 5 was Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow.
Who was the third, bro?
Lamar Jackson. Because I don't remember if I put, because it was like tough.
Moment.
The third one was tough for me because I was like,
hard decision
Lamar
to make.
Jackson and Joe Burrow. So it was Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and then 2 at number 5.
So that's 4 quarterbacks you know are going to do good, and 1 that you really, really want to do good.
Yes. Sounds like it. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat. My number 1 was Jalen Hurts. Number 2 was Trevor Lawrence. Number 3, Justin Herbert. Number 4 was Rodgers. I didn't let my quarterback go all the way down to number 5. Just saying. And then Geno Smith, because I like to see the comeback stories. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, Rodgers isn't much of a comeback story. It's more of a continuation of previous events.
Brett Favre is following in Brett Favre's footsteps.
Following in the footbacks of our former Green Bay Packers. And you know, as Jets, we'll pick up any of the scraps at the table because we're just dying to have our first fucking Super Bowl in, well, it's been a long time. Number 3, that was...
Yeah, same.
I wasn't even born yet. Like, I want to see us there. You know, AFC Championship was good with Mark Sanchez, but, you know, getting to that Super Bowl, that final level, that would be a real phenomenon for me to have in my lifetime. I know you feel the same.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready. That's
right
now.
We want to see us in that final game. It would be amazing to see an all AFC championship with just these 2 teams, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Can't happen.
Ever happen. It would be nice.
Could it happen? I don't think
it'd be more of a wild card fight.
I don't think it would be able to happen that way.
I don't think so, because we're in the same division.
I mean, it would just depend. Like, one of us would have to be, like, number 1 in the division. Like, number 1, and then the other one would have to be the wild card. And you'd have to, like, climb. Like, it would just, like, the games
it would be wild to see. That's all I'm saying.
I think it could happen, but it'd be a very, like, once-in-a-lifetime, like, turn of events of how it would have to happen. Because, like I said,
New York,
one
Miami.
of us would have to be number 1 in the division, and the other one would have to be the very bottom.
The 2 best cities on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know it. You want to see it. We want to see it.
I'm thinking about it, how it would work out. Anyways, so now that breaks down our personal opinions. Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, to the fantasy aspect of it, because we're all fantasy football players. Fantasy football's coming up. Everybody's probably doing mock drafts right now. Everybody's probably doing research, preparing for how they're going to do their snake draft or their auction draft, or if you got a best ball in DraftKings. Definitely gonna want to check us out. Keep your eyes on the prize, Because we played in a league. We've been playing in for a long. I've been playing fantasy football for a long time. I've been playing in the same league. I've been the commissioner of it for probably going on 8 to 10 years now. I'm not sure. Just lost track. But we're gonna keep it on quarterbacks. We're definitely gonna keep it on quarterbacks. Who should be your number one quarterback? I think consensus.
Gotta say, Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. I mean, number one.
He puts up consistently 28, 29 points a game, even without trying.
That's a minimum.
And that's a minimum.
That's a minimum. That's his minimum. That's his floor.
Certain leagues, you could see him getting 48, 50 points, 60 points from 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. And if he takes off running and scores one of them touchdowns on his legs, that's extra.
Yeah, I mean, hands down, he's definitely got the best upside. He's pricey. Like, if you're getting him in a snake draft, you got to take him high.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta jump.
You got to jump early, like late second round. If you're a late pick in the second round, you might have to pick him like.
Might even be too late.
Might have to pick him late in the second round or early in the third round, or you're not gonna get him. Just hands down, like he's gonna go. Like he's gonna go early. He might drop down to the 5th round in some leagues. Like if you're in a deep league, he might drop into the 5th round. But
even then, I doubt that. Most people will grab like 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. And then they start thinking about, oh man, I better grab my quarterback before somebody snatches him up. But then you go to look for him, and he's already queued up in somebody's lane, and you're last pick in the 5th round, and he's gone. So you might want to take that chance because your quarterback is a big popular position.
It's the key piece. It's definitely the key piece when you're building your roster. A lot of people don't think so, but I use it as my key piece. My quarterback is my key piece. Like, I build my fantasy team around my quarterback. That's why we're doing quarterbacks first.
Yeah, you got to. If you want to get
valuable,
if you want to get double points from your receivers and stuff, you got to have a good quarterback that. And pick your receivers up after him.
Exactly. Your quarterback is the only player on your fantasy football team that touches that ball every single play.
Guaranteed. That's every play.
Every single play. All right. So, with that being said, and what he was saying, yes, I want to piggyback off of that because, like, your wide receiver or your quarterback receiver combination is where it's at. Quarterback receiver combination is where it's at. You want to get a good quarterback and you want to get a good receiver. So obviously, if you can go Patrick Mahomes late round 2, Kelsey round 3, do it. Don't hesitate. That's a guaranteed 45, 50 points every week. Guaranteed. 50 points a week. Guaranteed. Guarantee you get Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce on your team. You're going to the playoffs.
That's like picking up Tua and Tyreek Hill. That's a fantastic combo.
We'll see how that whole thing plays out with Tyreek Hill. Like, we're gonna see how that plays out because if he gets suspended for any more than 2 games, be careful with drafting Tyreek Hill this year. Jalen Waddle's the way you're gonna want to go with Tua.
That's true. They have a good chemistry on the field and off the field, and they stay out of trouble.
yeah. So the Penguin, and the Tua is going to be the route to go over there with the Miami Dolphins.
You want to waddle into the water.
Waddle.
The dance is so addictive. I don't even like doing it, but here I am wiggling.
Waddle. So it's very important. Like, if you can get a good tight end, a good number 1 wide receiver to pair up with your quarterback, or even if you got the joys of getting a quarterback with a wide receiver, with a running back that catches out of the backfield, that's even better. Things you can get away with, like if Dalvin Cook stays in Minnesota, you can get away with going late on your quarterback and picking up Kirk Cousins and having Dalvin Cook early doing something like that can still benefit you because Dalvin Cook catches balls out of the backfield, and you have Justin Jefferson to rely on for Kirk Cousins to get him the ball. Last year, he was a very efficient quarterback. He wasn't a star, but he was efficient. Like, his numbers were consistent week to week.
And those numbers out of the backfield, when Kirk Cousins throws to Dalvin Cook, the yards that Cook gets on his feet, they are attributed to the quarterback throwing the ball. So it's not like he gets a 5-yard pass. It's like he gets a 25-yard pass when Dalvin Cook catches it from 5 yards out and runs 20 more yards. So they're both getting the benefit of that run and play extension. Extra points is extra points.
All right, so the next two on the list from last year, going number 2 and number 3, as far as quarterbacks go, that were highest scoring, were Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts.
Haven't talked much about Josh Allen.
Yeah, we're not big Josh Allen fans, but we can't deny him the fact that he is a good fantasy football option, especially if Stephon Diggs stays out there on the field, plays with Buffalo this year, which, like, there's been a lot of BS bullshit talk, which I don't pay attention to any of that stuff because, like, none of it really matters until preseason and training camp starts. Like,
when people step foot on the field, their mind changes. They realize what's important, and that's making the money from playing the game.
But last year, Josh Allen put up 465, and Jalen Hurts put up 422. That was with Jalen Hurts missing 2
I was going to say 2 or 3 games because that's a big gap there.
Let me grab something to drink. Let you take off of that. You need water?
No, this is for you.
I got another one.
Oh, okay. Hit that. But yeah, I can't deny Josh Allen did pretty good last year. He threw a lot of touchdowns. He didn't throw too many picks that I saw. I didn't really bring up any.
Man, he throws them picks. It's just that he's got running upside, and he's got Stephon Diggs catching balls out in the outfield.
He's getting out there though. He's making his name get talked about and stuff like this. Unfortunately, we don't want to see it, but here it is. You know.
But that was last year.
14 interceptions last year, but 35 touchdowns. Like, come on, man.
It's almost a 50% ratio.
He's scoring more. He's scoring more than he's throwing away.
Slightly more. But I wouldn't rank him number 2 this year. This coming year, I don't see him being number 2 quarterback. It really, all of it depends on availability. Availability too, because like he's very careless.
Yes,
he plays very carelessly,
as shown by the 14 interceptions, and I'm pretty sure.
Well, not only that.
How many sacks did he have last year?
He took 33 sacks last year.
33 sacks.
33 sacks last year. It means he
crumpled.
Got knocked down 33 times. Exactly, crumpled 33 times. Because he puts himself in those positions. Like, I don't see him, like, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, I don't see him being a quarterback in 5 years.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of chances with his body. That's for sure.
For sure. He's a big boy, though. He's a big redneck boy. So, like, they're also built to take that. You never
Corn-fed, you can take hits.
Corn-fed, exactly. All right.
You can jump over the pile of dudes for that 1-yard touchdown, you know?
So, where would we place him? Where would we place Josh Allen?
I'd probably place him, like, somewhere around 5 or 6.
5 or 6 this year.
Yeah, like he's still gonna put up good numbers because of the team, the team he has around him. But I feel like their defense is gonna do better than their offense. Their defense is gonna put them in positions where they don't need to throw the ball, so they'll suffer that way because they won't have that mentality of I gotta get out there and score points now because I gotta give my team a chance to rest. You know what I mean? The defense has got to rest.
Right. I gotta put this list on a word sheet up here too. I'm gonna work on doing that as well. All right, so we're gonna place him 5 or 6.
Yeah, I said probably 5 or 6.
5 or 6. So we're gonna like keep a question mark there. So Josh Allen in the middle there. There we go. 5 or 6. All right. See, these are some things that we should have done ahead of time, but we're new to this and learning, so we gotta go with the flow, right, my guy?
Absolutely. We're just starting out, getting our first fingers in the water here. So if you're liking what you see, give us a like, a subscribe, and maybe come back and check out the next episode too.
Oh yeah.
Whenever that will be, probably another week. We'll do them probably weekly, bi-weekly.
Try and get them weekly, maybe bi-weekly until football season starts, and then
definitely every Saturday
as
before
often
football.
as we can.
As often as we can. Saturdays and Mondays, we'll definitely want to talk about the games after them.
Yeah, because we're gonna also be have to do our fantasy coverage. So
exactly, we've got to talk about the Sunday games and who scored them big points. Monday night, right before Monday night's game. I guess we could probably even talk about Monday night's game before or after it's going on. If you want to tune in, you can check it out. If you don't get Monday night's game on TV or whatever streaming service you use, feel free to tune in to us and watch us get freaked out by what's going on the TV. We'll keep you informed, don't worry. So they had what? Tier 2, they had Lamar Jackson as the number 4 for fantasy.
Yeah, he did really well last year. He did get injured. He didn't end up finishing the season. So that's why I had him high on my list.
So here's somebody no one's talking about. Justin Fields in Chicago.
Let's talk about it.
No one's talking about it. He was ranked 6th in fantasy last year. But we didn't really see any real action come from him. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really watched and was talking about the Bears too often.
Right. No. I mean, but who did he have to throw the ball to? Let's think about that. Darnell Mooney.
Who?
Allen Robinson.
Okay, Robinson, I know. That name sounds familiar.
I mean, exactly. Who did he have to throw the ball to? He didn't have nobody to throw the ball to. I know that they made an acquisition this offseason.
Maybe one person on the team.
I know they made an acquisition this offseason for a receiver. Not like a big name receiver, but a good enough receiver to make a difference and give him somebody to throw the ball to, open up the field. Who did they pick up? Who was it?
Oh, that'll be the early years. We don't want the early years. We want the present.
Let me go here and look it up. Let me go
Current roster of Justin Fields.
There you go. Chase Claypool. There you go.
Yeah, they picked up Claypool from Pittsburgh.
And DJ Moore. That's who it was. It was DJ Moore. So they just went and picked up DJ Moore. Because they picked up Chase Claypool middle of the year.
Middle of the league last year. Yeah, until then it was just Darnell Mooney, Jones Jr.
They didn't have nobody for him to throw the ball to.
Darius Fountain.
Like they literally beat us by him running the ball. Like, a lot of the games that they won last year was him running the freaking ball.
Just Justin Fields just taking it into his own hands.
Running the ball. So...
But yeah, I think with Claypool and DJ Moore, they'll definitely have a higher opportunity to put out some decent plays and actually get talked about more relevantly in any kind of finishing or even playoff talk.
All right, so I'm actually gonna write Justin Fields down so we can fill him in somewhere in that top 10 because I know this year he's gonna be a top 10. I just don't know where to place him at yet. I don't know where to place him at yet.
No clue.
But he's gonna be running stat lines in the 20s because of his run upside, mainly because of his run upside. And now that he has people to throw the ball to, that's going to cut into his run potential. But his fantasy points are still going to be there. I could rank him in the top 5. I could see putting him at number 4. Because I'm thinking number 2 is going to be Lamar Jackson this year. And then Joe Burrow.
I could definitely see Lamar Jackson in the top 5.
And we got Tua up there, like, depending on his health. Like, if he stays healthy for a whole season, like, he was fighting for MVP. What's up, Walker Slayer? How you doing? He was fighting for MVP last year. So, let's see here. We got... So let's write a couple of these names down. So we got Justin Fields, we got Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson got OBJ now to throw the ball to, and he's got tons of upside in the run game. So Justin Fields, we got Tua.
Not to mention all these franchise records that he's been breaking since he joined the league in, 2018?
Justin Herbert.
Highest passer rating of his career was 102.6.
Who was that?
Lamar.
Yeah.
Highest passer rating. Season was 113.3. Highest completion percentage in his career, 64%.
I mean, I can make an argument for Aaron Rodgers to be in the top 10 this year. I know he wasn't a top 10 performer last year, but Aaron Rodgers. No, we're not doing a fantasy draft right now. We're kind of preparing for the fantasy draft. We're covering quarterbacks, so right now we're gonna build our top 10 list for the quarterbacks for this year. So that's kind of what we're doing. We went over earlier in the video. We went over and we covered our personal top 5s, kind of just bullshitting around a little bit. This is our first episode. We plan on doing more of them. We're going to be doing a lot of fantasy coverage. So yeah, this episode might be a little choppy, but hey, we'll get better at it.
And don't get me wrong, we'll definitely probably be doing a fantasy draft on this on the stream, just not today.
We will be because we do a fantasy league every year, so we'll definitely be airing our fantasy draft. Maybe we can get the Buffalo Wild Wings kit and go do it at Buffalo Wild Wings with their little fancy board and shit, you know?
Buffalo Wild Wings, really?
Maybe we just buy the kit.
Yeah, we can just take the kit
and bring it to the house.
Does ESPN have a kit? They can send us one? That would be great.
Actually, you know what? I think they do.
ESPN could have a nice kit. And then you get everybody's names on stickers.
Yeah, so we actually might have a spot open in our fantasy league. If you want to join in, you can join in on the Discord. I have to type that into the chat.
We'll pop that up here in a little bit.
You can hit me up in my Discord, and when we get the league started, I'll send you out the link. All right, so right now we have Patrick Mahomes as number 1 for sure.
Not even going to argue that fact.
We can't argue that fact. He gets, like, his bottom line is 28 points a week. Like, that's his floor, and the ceiling just goes up from there, and that's not going to change. I don't see that changing for the next year or two, or at least until Kelsey's out the window. Like, when Kelsey steps out the door, then we'll start discussing Patrick Mahomes
going down on the list,
not being the number 1 quarterback. You know what I mean? And by that time, Andy Reid, he's going to have somebody else over there to, like, take Travis Kelce's place. But this number 2, this number 3 spots, no worries. It's very hard to decide who to put there. We're thinking Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Tua, or Jalen Hurts. We're thinking Justin Fields because the upside he has with the run game and the addition of DJ Moore over there in Chicago. The only problem is they haven't really made their offensive line any better, so it's like, is he going to be able to have the time to throw the ball down the field to DJ Moore? Time will tell. Let's see. And then we got Lamar Jackson with the addition of OBJ, and we already know what they can do over there in Baltimore, and he's got his money though. So usually, like, I'm skeptical with that because usually once a player gets paid, they don't perform as well. Let's see what his stats were from last year. Lamar Jackson. We got Joe Burrow up there. Yeah.
This is about the protection that Tua is going to get on the field. A little foam in there. Just a little foam.
This fucking guy. Give me that thing. This fucking guy. Oh, how can I get back into it? Oh, that's right. If I leave, I can't fix it. Damn it.
Can't fix it. So they're saying we were talking about Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Just now? Okay.
Yeah. Right now I'm kind of trying to play out the season. Let me look at their schedule.
Well, it says drafters might get a slight discount on Lamar Jackson this year after a second consecutive season in which injuries limited him to 12 games. In 2021, it was a bone bruise in his ankle that prematurely ended his season. In 2022, it was a sprained PCL in his knee. Jackson has been a lethal running threat throughout his career, averaging 63.4 yards per game over his 5 NFL seasons. But Jackson has been playing for new pass-friendlier offenses coordinator Todd Monken after the Ravens parted ways with Greg Roman. Even with the uncertainty and the recent injuries, Jackson's still an upper echelon fantasy quarterback capable of QB1 finish, according to Pat Fitzmaurice at Fantasy Pros.
All right, so they have Texans to open the season, then the Bengals, then the Colts, then the Browns, then the Steelers, then the Titans, then the Lions, Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Browns again, the Bengals again, the Chargers, the Rams, the Jaguars, the 49ers, New Year's Eve against the Dolphins. Wait, is this year? And then the Steelers, yeah. And then the Steelers. So, I mean, they got a decent schedule, but looking at, like, the defenses that they have to play, like, the Bengals, those 2 games are going to be tough for them. The Buccaneers, but that's a preseason game where they play the Buccaneers. The Dolphins defense is going to be tough. I mean, they have the 49ers defense, they have a pretty easy run this year. They play the Chargers on a night game. It looks like a Thursday night game. And they play the Bengals on a Monday night game. On a long week. They get a long week. They get 10 days rest between that. And then they don't play again for another 14 days after that. So they got a bye week after their Charger game going into the Rams. So I mean, he's got a pretty easy schedule. So based on strength of schedule, I'm gonna put him as my number 2. What do you think? Fucking Jets sucks. Jets suck.
That's what I think right there. History of football even says it so. Jets are gonna go all the way.
No.
With Rodgers throwing the ball, Breece Hall running the ball, Garrett Wilson out there catching it. Who else did we slag? Randall Cobb. We even snagged him from retirement. Didn't he retire?
No. He was over there.
Didn't he retire too?
He should be retired.
He
though,
should be
but
retired.
He was over there with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he was still in Green Bay, but now he's a Jet, and we're gonna do the same fucking crazy plays that I used to get pissed off about and mad and upset. I'm gonna be the exact opposite. I'm gonna be super happy about them. I'm going to be like, well, damn, look at that throwing it to the cheese. Wait, no, he's not a cheesehead anymore. Look at him throwing it at that airplane flying through the sky. Just like that ball.
All right, so let's go look at Philly's schedule. Because who would be next on the list?
Probably Hurts, yeah.
Jalen Hurts. Or Joe Burrow, maybe.
Burrow's up there, yeah. He's definitely got some
upside.
Some upside. But we're gonna go Hurts then Burrow, just because the Eagles have.
Well, let's look at their schedule. For the year. I think they got a pretty easy schedule as well.
NFL schedule.
So they open up against the Patriots. They play the Vikings. They play the Bucks. They play the Commanders, the Rams, the Jets. They got to play us on a Sunday night.
Sunday night football against the Dolphins.
Yeah, we go to Philly though. It's in Philly. And then they play the Commanders again, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, 49ers, Cowboys again, Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, and then Giants to finish out the season. So, I mean, there's a lot of upside for Jalen Hurts based in these games. Because they're going to be high-scoring games. So you got to think, like, that Commanders game is going to be pretty high-scoring as far as the Eagles go. Remember, they came out hot last year, yo.
Yeah.
What was it, 12-0 they went?
Yeah, the last undefeated team in the league.
Oh, yeah, he likes your hair.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Badass hair right there. Yeah, I went a little hectic and decided I wanted to be seen. So I gotta take the hat off every now and then and show people what's going on under there.
Alright, let's look at the Cincinnati schedule.
Tuck it so that we can see the fire that's going. Fire in New York. There's a fire.
There is a fire in New York right now, man. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now.
He didn't like saying it, but he's gonna keep saying it because he's got to.
I can't not.
He can't deny.
Oh my gosh!
You can't deny Rodgers is gonna be a threat in the AFC East.
Oh my gosh!
A big threat.
All right, so Cincinnati opens up against Cleveland, and they play.
Then they got the Ravens right after that.
The Ravens,
and then the Rams, and the Titans, and then the Cardinals. And then they hit Seahawks, and then they get their first bye week in Week 7. So that first 6 weeks, I think they're going to probably take off. I mean, Joe Burrow against the Browns.
Yeah, it looks like a 6-0 start to start the season.
It really kind of does.
It
like
kind of looks like a 6-0 start for
Well,
week 2 is probably their
I
only
was gonna say
question
week
mark
2 is the only question mark I
against
see.
the Ravens. That's their only question mark that they have is against the Ravens. So
Who got the Rams?
And then
Stafford is still Stafford in the Rams. Matthew
Yeah.
Stafford.
yeah. All right, so then they come back from their bye, and then they start with the 49ers, and then the Bills, Texans, Ravens
Yeah,
again,
the Ravens
Steelers,
twice.
Jaguars, Colts, and then Week 15 against the Vikings, and then the Steelers again.
Yeah, they do only play. They played
And then
the Ravens twice,
Chiefs,
and then the Browns twice at the end.
Yeah, well, they play everybody in their conference. I mean,
Like who else is in their conference? Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Arizona, Indianapolis, Kansas City. Oh, okay, the Texans.
So I think on fantasy upside, I honestly for this year, looking at knowing what I know now, Chicago has a pretty easy route to. I'm actually gonna, for me,
Put Justin
I'm
Fields up in
gonna
the top
put
5.
Justin Fields number 3 here as a top 3 fantasy quarterback this year.
Yeah, the strength of schedule is really falling into his favor.
Yeah, for real. Especially now that they got DJ Moore. He's got phenomenal run upside. I'm going to rank him number 3 quarterback for this season. Alright, so number 4, I think is safe to put Jalen Hurts, number 4.
Which pushes Burrow to 5.
No, put 2 at 5. What you talking about?
That's right, Tua was at 5 earlier.
So we got Jalen Hurts at number 4.
I noticed I don't see Tua. Oh, there he is, number 15 on this one.
Last year, yeah, I know he missed 6 games. That's missing 6 games to look at his stats, so man.
I can't talk. Rodgers only made it 13, so.
Rodgers is gonna have hell of a year this year. Like it's this bottom 5 is gonna be tough. Bottom 5.
I like how they
top
still
10
have
is gonna
Tom
be
Brady
tough.
on here at number 12.
Well, this is from last year's stats, right?
I think so, but it says he's a free agent.
Free agent. Oh yeah. All right. So far we got number 1 Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 we got Lamar Jackson. I think he's good for 26, 27 points average each week. Justin Fields. It's hard to say. I definitely think his floor is going to be the 25 to 27 range. Jalen Hurts, same thing, 25 to 27 range on average. So obviously you're going to get bad weeks mixed in there, but you're going to get great weeks mixed in there as well. Just really depends on the game. And you're going to want to come back each week to make sure that you know when we're going to be sitting or playing those players. Yes, sitting or playing those players.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to know, because some players are going to play well against other teams that are not going to play. They're not going to play well against another team. Like you put a hard pressed running defense. You're going to want to change your running back to one that's like not as hard pressed. You don't want to pick somebody that's like allowing the running back 2 touchdowns and 200 yards a game, rather than the team that's putting up a defense that's got no touchdowns and 58 yards allowed to running backs. You're going to want to make that switch and make that adjustment.
Yep.
And we'll help you see that coming.
Yep. That's what we're doing this for. Alright, so number 5, we have Josh Allen here thrown in there around 5 or 6.
Mainly because of the upside of Stephon Diggs. If Diggs get hurt, then he doesn't have that dynamic long throw that he can put up there and stack points on.
Well, I mean, they still would have Gabe Davis, but yeah, they don't have. Didn't they get rid of Dawson Knox this year?
Yeah.
So like his reliable tight end, they don't have it anymore. He does have upside with his feet and with his size, and like he plays rough. He's very accurate. Do I think he's going to do as good this year as he did last year? Yeah, sure. I do. Do I think he's going to perform better in a fantasy aspect than a guy like Tua or Justin Herbert? What do you think? What do you think about Justin Herbert? Can we rank him in the top 10? Should he be in this conversation for the top 5?
Let's see. His strength. Let's see what his schedule looks like for the Chargers. They start off on the Dolphins. That's going to be a tough game.
Oh yeah, with our defense. We did some work on our defense.
Then they got the Titans, the Vikings, the Raiders before they hit their Week 5 bye week. Then we got, after the bye week, they got a long stretch of Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, then the Bears, then the Jets, then the Lions, then the Packers. They don't have a very easy schedule looking up for them. So, I mean, it starts off hard and only gets harder after their bye week. Like, they come back and face the Cowboys. They got to deal with that. They got to deal with Mahomes 2 weeks later. Then they got the Bears with Justin Fields. Jets, they're going to get crushed by Rodgers. The Lions, they might be able to pull off a win against the Lions.
That's going to be a shootout game. So yeah, that's going to be a high-scoring game for Justin Herbert and for Jared Goff.
It'll probably be like a 45-45. We'll see who's gonna get more at the end.
Yeah, it'd be in the 30s. It'd be in the 30s, maybe like 34, 31.
Well, we've seen the Lions pull off some crazy freaking scores last year too. They had a game with 50 points in it on both sides.
It was like
on
ridiculous.
Both sides.
It was
like,
ridiculous with them Lions.
Defense was just not there. They were not present. And yeah, they look like they got a pretty rough
schedule.
Final season, like run out
Last
too.
Stretch of the season.
I mean, they'll get the Broncos with Wilson. They might be able to take out in Week 14. But, you know, the Raiders again, and then back to Buffalo, and back to Denver, and then they got to deal with Mahomes at the end of the season.
Yeah, they play them twice, yeah.
Yeah, they got to deal with Mahomes twice. Both of them after the bye week, so they got to get spanked before they go and get spanked.
Well, the Chargers actually usually, like, that usually goes 1-1, the Chargers and the Chiefs. So, they have a healthy team going into the year. Like, last year they were pretty banged up.
So I could see top 10, but definitely not top 5. Maybe 9.
Justin Herbert at 9. Justin Herb.
Alright, so what about, what was that, New Orleans?
That's with Derek Carr.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they're going to be running the ball a lot over there in New Orleans this year because Derek Carr sucks.
A lot of Alvin Kamara.
Kamara.
We're not talking about running backs today.
No.
So let's back that up. I think New Orleans will definitely be a running team. I mean, they got Winston still, too, but... So, you want some crab legs?
Alright, so from a fantasy standpoint, I think, like, going through the list here, we have to rank Josh Allen here at number 5.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other person I could argue that's going to be better this year, like, is going to be Tua. But that's given he stays healthy all year. And I can't guarantee that. But, yeah, if he stays healthy this year, Tua can easily be a number one. But there's too many question marks there right now. Being the Dolphin fan that I am, I have full confidence. I would rank him as my number one. I'm going to treat going into the season, I'm going to treat it as such. But I am not going to be a biased... What's the word I'm looking for, bro? What's the word I'm looking for, bro? A biased what? What are we
Biased fan?
Yeah, I'm biased. Like commentator.
Commentator.
There we
Okay.
go.
Analyst.
There we go.
A biased analyst.
I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to try and give you guys the best info possible, unbiased. So when I do talk about Tua, it's not because I'm biased. It's because he has proven that he is an elite quarterback. He has proven that he can sling the ball. He has proven that he can throw down and he can win games. It's just a matter of, can we keep him healthy enough to stay out there on that field for the entire season?
All right. So let's see, number 6. What are who are we thinking for number 6?
Oh yeah, because we put Josh Allen in at number 5.
Yeah.
All right, so Josh Allen secured number 5 spot. Lucky you, fucker. This is a new Tom Brady.
So what about the Raiders out here with their new quarterback,
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Mr. Garoppolo?
I can't rank him in the top 10 anywhere close to the top 10. He's too inconsistent. He's proven that he's definitely accident prone, and he has a very low ceiling as it is. Like, his ceiling is in the 20s. We're looking for players to fit our top 10 where their floor is in the 20s. And if you're new to fantasy football, you're not quite sure what that means. Basically, the floor is where they start. So if your floor is in the 20s, that means like you're pretty much going to be hitting the 20s, and you just go up from there. And if your ceiling is in the 20s, then that basically means that like that's pretty much as high as you're going to get at your ceiling. It's the top. Can't go higher.
All right. So what about let's see, Tannehill in Tennessee? No.
I mean, we could talk about some of these rookies that are coming out, like Bryce Young over there in Carolina, or Anthony Richardson over there in Indianapolis. But I don't. They're rookies. I mean, what do we have to go on?
There's no expectations.
There's no expectations. So we got Bryce Young, a little guy over there in Carolina. I've heard a lot of good things about this kid.
Alabama, roll tide, man. He was rolling all the tides.
That's where Tua came from. But yes, I've heard a lot of good things about this kid. They don't have a lot of offense as far as wide receivers go over there in Carolina. They're in rebuild mode, so I wouldn't expect much out of them this year. But definitely worthy. I think he's a worthy quarterback to keep an eye on. Bijan Robinson going to be a stud. Bijan Robinson going to be a stud.
Oh yeah, B. Robinson. He's the running back, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, they picked him up over there in Atlanta.
They got Patterson as his backup.
Well, Cordell Patterson's working his way out of the league anyways. He's working on year, 8 or 9, I think. And he didn't have, like, a good start to his career. I think his first 4 seasons were kind of he's a good return man. So, like,
yeah,
that's going to free him up to be
like
a
solid
Devin
Hester.
Man. Yeah. He's a good return man, but as far as like actual running back goes, like he's not got the running upside. He's more of like a catch runner, out of the backfield type of runner. So Bijan Robinson over there in Atlanta is going to look good. Who do they have as their quarterback in Atlanta? Didn't they get that new guy as well? Anthony Richardson, Ritter.
Let's find out real quick. Atlanta. Desmond Ridder, yes.
Yeah.
Over Heineke. Who the hell is Heineke?
Heineke. He was from the Commanders. Heineke's a good backup.
Tyler Heineken.
Like, honestly, Heineke might start, depending on how Ridder. I'm gonna have to do some research on Atlanta.
Yeah, Ridder's expected to remain the starter. He's predictably uneven in his 4 regular season starts as a rookie, completing 63.2% of all his passes, averaging almost 6.5 yards per attempt, and throwing two touchdown passes, but 0 interceptions. He's a good runner, and his ability to contribute with his legs make him a potentially stream-worthy quarterback for 2023.
Okay, so, I mean, there's some upside for Desmond Ridder because Atlanta does have a passing game with Drake London out there. He came out last year. He did some pretty good things for fantasy players. It was just not very consistent. Atlanta is a running team, but
more of those passes out of the backfield will help him out. Passes to Cordell or the new guy, Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier. They got some things for him to throw to. So yeah. We'll see what that new boy
Robinson
can figure out.
Probably gonna be a stud. Yeah, we'll look into him. We'll do some research on him for sure when we do our running back segment, which will probably be next week. We'll either do running backs or wide receivers. Might have to do running backs.
Yeah, RB
wide
and
receivers.
Wide receivers will be last.
Open. Yeah, there's like so open. There's so many receivers out there to go over and list. We're gonna need
we gotta find out
for
where everybody went before, Gotta find out where they all landed.
All the movement and stuff. All right, so we're still trying to figure out number 6 here. So our top 5 is Patrick Mahomes, Jackson, Fields, Hurts, and rounding it out at number 5 is Josh Allen. From a fantasy standpoint.
Okay, we're talking good players here. So
yeah, and like Josh Allen, there, your floor is still pretty high with Josh Allen. Your floor is at 25. That's your floor. Bam.
I noticed we haven't slatted Rodgers in there yet.
I know. I'm trying to debate. Like, he's actually in the conversation here.
Because he's got a couple of his veteran weapons that he can throw to with Lazard,
Rodgers at 7,
and Randall Cobb. Yeah, Rodgers at 7. I mean that's valid.
Pretty close. It was one of the next ones we choose. I can see Rodgers sliding in at number 7 for sure, and we could probably make arguments if he comes out and beats his MVP self. Like, we'll know by the third game of preseason, we'll know for sure which Aaron Rodgers we're going to get this year. So this definitely could change, but most people will have their teams drafted by week 2 of preseason, or I would hope by the 3rd week of preseason you're drafted and you're not waiting until like that last week right before the season starts.
Yeah, and Rodgers' schedule doesn't look too shabby. We go
their schedule
straight
this
off
year is
against
super
Buffalo. Then we got the Cowboys and New England. Then we'll be doing Kansas City and Broncos. So we got a couple of hard games in there. But don't get me wrong, we're playing Mahomes, we're playing Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. 2 of 1, 2, 3 of our top 5 within the first 6 games. But once we hit our bye week, we have a nice little bit of a slower.
But see what helps you guys is y'all got that good defense. Y'all got a really good defense.
Our defense puts up stops now instead of just letting them get
y'all got really good
yardage after yardage.
We have not said Burrow yet. Nope. He's probably number 6, to be honest. We looked at strength of schedule.
With Cincinnati.
That's why he did not go into our top 5 because of the strength of schedule.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a harder
and he
start.
Doesn't have a lot of run upside to him as well.
He's just going to be winging it down the field.
All his points come from air yardage, and based on strength of schedule, he plays a lot of good defensive teams, so he didn't make it into the top 5. I don't think he's going to be getting 27 points each week.
Not likely,
unfortunately.
anyway.
He's probably going to be in the 24-point range on average.
I'd say 19 to 21.
You say 19 to 21 for Joe Burrow? I think that's a little low.
I like the low ball
for his floor.
I like the low ball Burrow because who's he got? He's got Chubb running still.
Yeah. No, he's got
I forget
Joe
who
Mixon.
Joe Mixon, and he does catch some balls out of the backfield, but at the same time, it's more of a hand it to him and let Mixon do Mixon thing.
Mixon things, yeah. He's got T. Higgins, he's got Tyler Boyd, and he's got Jamar Chase in the backfield to throw to. So I think his floor is around the 23 to 25 points a week range.
But you can go ahead and slap Burrow in the 6.
That's saying that he's better than Tua, man.
You said it.
I did not say it. I'm saying that's saying that he's better than Tua. I'm not putting him down there yet. I don't know, man.
Okay, well let's
All right, so
let's take a look at Tua.
Let's discuss some Tua. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. All right, so last year when he was on the field, when he stayed healthy, he was the best quarterback in the league, number 1. Do you want me to pull up his stats?
I'm working towards it. There we go. Schedule. I mean, you can talk to all day. You don't need to look at the stats. You know him. And if he does get hurt, we got Mike White stepping up to fill his shoes. But yeah, Tua's from Alabama. QB rank of 15 last year. Schedule's looking a little tricky right off the bat.
Yeah,
They come out with the Chargers, and then they got to hit the Patriots and then the Broncos. So it doesn't start out too bad. And then you got Buffalo, and then you'll be in New York for in Miami hosting the Giants, and then you got to host Carolina, and then you'll go up to Philly for Week 7. You got the Patriots Week 8 again down in Miami. Week 9, the Dolphins will be running out to Kansas City to face off against Mahomes before they get their first bye week in Week 10.
That's actually in Germany.
Oh, that's an in Germany game. That is a 9:30 a.m. game. You're right. Week 9 will be fun. Then you get your bye week, and then you come back to face off against the Raiders, and then the game that we all want to go to, Friday, November 24th, Black Friday in New York. Going to be the Dolphins and the Jets taking it head-to-head in New Jersey. Then you got the Commanders, the Titans, and then right back here down in Miami, the game that we're both going to, the New York Jets versus Miami Dolphins, Sunday, December 17th at 1 o'clock. Then you can round out your schedule with a trip back to Miami to host the Cowboys, and then a trip to Baltimore before you face off against the Bills in the final week.
That's a home game. The Bills one's a home game.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that game at all, being a home game. Them Buffalo Bills fans
come down here
are
and
rowdy. Them Buffalo Bills fans are rowdy. I guarantee you I'm gonna do my best not to get into a fight at that game, because we're gonna knock them out of their playoff contention. We're gonna knock them off their pedestal. We're gonna win that game. They're gonna lose. They're gonna be so sour. I don't know why they chose to end the season in Miami with Buffalo, but
it'll be upsetting for them.
All right, back to our list. Back
to reasons why Tua needs to be 6 instead of 8.
Instead of 8. Because he's done the work in the off season to make sure that he himself stays healthy. He's went and he took jiu-jitsu classes. He put on weight. He's been learning how to fall. Mike McDaniel
learning how to fall. All right.
Hey, I mean, it sounds bad, but
no, I get it.
I guess it's a thing.
When you get hit and you go down, you want to protect yourself the best you can. You want to know how to fall on the ground so you don't crumple your fucking arm and
exactly, or
tear something,
get another concussion,
or exactly hit the back of your head on the ground.
And Mike McDaniel is a genius when it comes to football. He's been implementing the jiu-jitsu and everything into the practices and into the plays to iterate to his training to help keep him safe and help keep him healthy. A fully healthy, like I said, a fully healthy Tua in my eyes is number one. I mean, the stats, honestly, behind him in the 10 games that he played last year, honestly, back it up. He was in the running to be MVP. He was fighting for that MVP spot against Patrick Mahomes until he got injured and got that concussion and was out for 6 games.
That was a hell of a way to finish off his season for sure.
And then he came back and he did the same thing, lit it up. So I think he's going to come out this year and he's going to put up phenomenal numbers. Easily 25-point floor, which would put him at number 6.
My only problem with Tua is that it is indeed risky. Your willingness to draft him will likely depend on your tolerance for said risk. He proved himself as a passer, for sure, leading all the quarterbacks in passer rating, 105.5, yards per attempt, 8.9, and touchdown percentage, 63%. But he has to be considered a concussion risk after a season in which he twice missed games due to brain injuries. He was knocked unconscious against the Bengals in Week 4, didn't return until Week 7. That was 3 games missed. And he was also placed in a concussion protocol after the final game of the season, the 16 game against the Packers, and missed Miami's final 2 games. Were it not for concussion concerns, he would be drafted as a top 10, and I would say yeah on the number 6. But I mean, you're taking a chance that the offensive line is going to be able to protect him, and I don't know. I see him more as an 8 just on concerns, I guess you could say. Not willing to risk putting him in at 6. And then exactly, the possibility that another concussion could put Tua out of action indefinitely seems more sensible to regard him as he's like a high-end QB2. Because he's got amazing high-end. Like, he could take off.
Yes.
He definitely can take off.
He's got a high ceiling.
The ceiling is there.
He's got a very high ceiling, but his floor, you're right, is probably around 19 or 20 range, like you were saying with Joe Burrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're not even in chat, buddy.
Not even in the chat over here. Hi. Welcome to the chat.
But yeah, so all right, so we'll put since his floor, we're doing this based on the floor. So I can agree with you that would put his floor pretty low, around the 18, 19, 20 range, from 18 to 20, which would drop him to number 8 and puts Joe Burrow number 6.
Which, don't get me wrong, I know you want to see Tua do fantastic every game, 4 or 5 touchdowns, whatever. You want to see him breaking records, and I get that. I want to see the same thing from Rodgers. I want to see him destroy all the New York records so that he can put his name on something with some value.
All right, so now we got number 9, we got number 10, which we got Justin Herbert. We got names like Herbert, Lawrence, Geno Smith. Even Matthew Stafford, from a fantasy standpoint, can come into this argument from the Detroit Lions.
Say yeah on that one.
Because they are going to repeat their performance based on their schedule. I don't see the Detroit Lions going backwards. I only
You mean
see
Goff then? Goff's with the Lions.
That's what I said, right? No, I
No, you
said
said
Stafford with the Rams. No, yes, Goff, Geno Smith, Herbert, Lawrence. I don't think we can discuss anybody else for these last two spots. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to make a drastic turnaround.
I don't see Wilson with the Broncos doing anything.
Even though
fantastic.
they got Sean Payton over there, I really don't see it making much of a difference. Like, yeah, they're going to win a couple more games than they did last year. But no, I don't see him making a big turnaround and being a top 10 this year. Top 15, maybe, but still even tough. Like, because you got Deshaun Watson in the picture.
Haven't even mentioned Daniel Jones.
I mean, like, he doesn't have a high floor.
What about Pickett?
He doesn't have a high floor.
Yeah.
You know, like, Pickett's going to be good, but he's going to be very, like, up and down from week to week. Pickett is going to be a great quarterback that you can, like, pick as your backup quarterback and then plug him in on certain weeks that you know they're playing against somebody bad, like when they play the Texans or something like that. And then you can plug him in for an easy... Dak Prescott. Let's see. Dak Prescott is very interception prone.
Interception and injury prone.
Very interception prone, which
I never get too
really
excited about the
cuts
Cowboys.
It really cuts into your fantasy points. He does have a pretty high floor. I would say his floor is in the 20 range, to be honest. Let me look at some stats from last year.
I mean, he's got Tony
From
Pollard. He
years
can
prior.
hand the ball off, too.
Yeah, Tony Pollard's going to be a top 5 quarterback or running back this year for sure.
And with Braylon Cooks and CD Lamb still out there to catch the ball, I mean, he's got some options as far as throwing. Michael Gallup still on the team. But I don't know. Letting Ezekiel Elliott go was a big thing for them.
That was the best thing they could have done.
Oh yeah, I agree.
That was honestly the best.
So
thing
much
they
more
could have
money
done.
they can have to spend
Well, not
elsewhere.
only that, it was just like
His time was up. Like, he was only getting 2 yards a run, if that,
yeah, he's not that great.
by the end. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, he had his breakaway season where he did fantastic, but after that it was like nobody really talked about him.
I just felt like it was either one or the other there in Dallas. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
pick. Like, you either gotta go with Dak or you gotta go with Zeke. You gotta pick one or the other, because with both of them, it's not gonna work out because they're both kind of ball hog and ball hungry. So
Yeah, I agree.
Now that they got rid of
they're
one
not
of them.
the QB running back combo you want to pick up as far as like who's gonna get you the most fantasy points. You know, that's what we're here for. We're here for fantasy points, not
anything else.
not anything else.
Fantasy points. Fantasy points. What you gonna give us each week? That's what we care about right now. You would go Geno over Dak. Yeah, I think Geno and the Seahawks. Question is, like, they have the question mark. Are they going to be able? Can you pull up the Seahawk schedule?
Yeah, I can.
Let's look at the Seahawks schedule this year. Like, they surprised the hell out of the NFL Nation last year. They surprised the hell out of everybody. The question is, can they do it again? Let's look at their strength of schedule.
It's
like,
very possible.
have they had any changes in the offensive line? I don't think. I think they're one of the teams that didn't make any changes as far as like wide receivers go.
Okay, yeah, their depth chart, they still have nobody around. Kenny Walker III and Zach Charbonnet, so they really don't have much of a run But they got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett still, and those are two of the best wide receivers in Seattle. With Noah Fant as the tight end, they still
and Will Dissly.
And Dissly.
And Will Dissly.
He's got a nice little core of people he can throw to.
The Rams.
Now the schedule looks basic.
Bengals, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, Commanders, Rams.
Not a lot of defensive teams playing against Seattle.
Yeah, they play the 49ers.
They do the Bengals after the bye.
49ers twice.
Cleveland, Baltimore, Washington.
Yeah, they play a lot of easy teams this year.
So yeah, I would definitely see Geno Smith capitalizing on these sorry teams he's going to be playing. The Cardinals to end the season, the Seahawks have a pretty easy schedule ahead of them. So I would definitely see Geno above Dak Prescott for sure.
Dak.
Incredible year last year. You're absolutely right.
And then where would we rank Herbert or Lawrence? Lawrence has more weapons to throw to this year. So I think Lawrence is going to make a jump from last year to this year.
Oh, especially better than the Chargers with Herbert. Herbert's still got the same shit, whereas Lawrence has gotten added pressure as well as a couple of new pickups, right?
Receivers, correct. Who'd they get? They got Calvin Ridley over there, who gets to come back and play this year, and then they also picked up in the middle of the season last year. They picked up. No, that was Chicago. I'm thinking about. That's Chicago. I'm thinking about.
For what, the
Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, we're looking for the Jags. Why do I keep ending up on the schedule?
Lawrence has Calvin Ridley now. Yeah, that's what I thought. And he's a pretty good receiver. He's not great, but he's definitely going to add another element to their receiving room and free up ability for Trevor Lawrence to sling the ball some more. And Travis Etienne out of the backfield has good upside receiving-wise, which helps Trevor Lawrence.
Christian Kirk. Zay Jones went off last year. I remember personally having him on my fantasy team near the end, and it was just I don't know where this kid came from, but... Yeah,
he had some good games last year. So Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones. They picked up a tight end, too, didn't they? A good tight end.
Evan
Ingram. Yep, that's who it was. Evan Ingram.
Snagged him from New York, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. So he's definitely... I would say
I say he's going to make a big jump this year. Could we rank him at number 9? I mean, you think that puts his floor in the 20 range? I mean, he had a pretty good. What was his stats for last year?
Him and his Clemson buddy.
What was his stats for last year?
Stats for last year. He played all 17 games, completed 387 passes out of 584 for a 66.3 pass completion, 4,000 yards,
3,600,
25 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions.
Oh, I was looking at the 1 year before that. Okay, you're right. Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
So he actually lowered. All right. So from 21 to 22, he doubled his touchdowns, and he cut his interceptions in half, and threw 500 more yards from year 1 to year 2, and his QB rating went up 24 points from year 1 to year 2.
And that's
You
not
would go
even talking
Geno
about his legs.
over Lawrence because Geno will get runs with QB. Well, I mean, Lawrence is going to get some runs too.
I was just getting into that.
He was just about to get into that. What's his rushing stats?
He had 5 touchdowns rushing last year, which was 3 more than the previous year. But he did come up with some more fumbles. 12 fumbles compared to 9 in the previous year.
Which is not a good thing. Fumbles that's 24 points lost, and 6 times. So 30 points based on the running touchdowns, and then 24 points lost based on the fumbles. So he actually only gained an extra 6 points rushing there, not counting the yardage. It was 300 yards, 4.7. Yeah. So what's Geno's rushing upside? How many touchdowns did he get us last year?
I gotta go back and look.
No worries. Yeah, I know these last couple spots it gets hard because any one of these quarterbacks could really be 9, 10, 11, and 12. We can make arguments to list them in any way, but who is going to do the best this coming year is the question.
Yes, we want to know about this year, not necessarily last year. Last year was great. We had a lot of fun watching the games and everything. Okay, so let's see. 2022. Geno with his legs, rushing stats, put up 8 fumbles and only 1 touchdown. So, as far as legs are concerned, I'd still go with Trevor Lawrence over Geno.
Trevor Lawrence. He had more yardage. He did have more yardage. He has 366 yards with a 5.4 average for his runs, but yeah, he's got 1 touchdown and 8 fumbles. And his career for rushing, looking at it, is
30 fumbles.
Not good.
For 9 touchdowns.
Not good at all. So Trevor Lawrence going into his 3rd year, I think is going to make a pretty good jump, and I think he makes. I think his floor is going to be in the 18 to 20 range each week, especially based on strength of schedule for the Jaguars.
His fumbles last year were just as bad as when he first started the season with the Jets in 2013, where he was able to get 6 touchdowns with 8 fumbles. And that was back in 2013 with the Jets. Then 2014 he did the 1 for, again, 8 fumbles. And then he stopped getting touchdowns. He stopped running the ball and started throwing it for a while. And I guess they're getting back to it, and that's probably why, he's back in the conversation about it, is that Seattle was like, well, let's see what you can do with your legs, buddy.
And I think
let's see if you're like Russell Wilson, where you can evade and extend plays, and it's working out for him. Just a little better than Wilson, that's for sure. So who do you got at 10 now? Oh, you just erased the whole thing, didn't you?
Oh,
See, mistakes are gonna happen. He didn't save his work.
I tried to, and it didn't save it. It didn't. I don't know what it did.
And so he erased what he had prepared for you guys today. So we might have to do it old school and just show off this one. You get to see our lovely handwriting.
Our lovely handwriting. Yeah, I don't have it finished because I was doing it on here.
I know. I know. Let's see. Who did we have at 8? Tua?
Yeah.
And then Burrow.
Yeah.
And then Geno. No, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty accurate there. This is what we're expecting from these guys is going to be. We're expecting the phenomenal, not just the mediocre. We want the all-stars here.
So who are you guys going to draft as your number one quarterback?
Exactly. You've got our opinions. Now hit us back with what you think should be the number one drafted quarterback for fantasy this year. Make sure to leave suggestions in the comments.
I'm redoing this, damn it.
Oh, man. Next week we're going to be talking running backs. So we'll get all your favorite insights, our top 10. Not to mention your insight as to who we think is going to put up the most fantasy points as far as running backs for this year, 2023. It's going to be a fantastic year. The running back room is quite loaded in all reality. We have a lot of players to talk about. The top 10 is going to be a hard decisions. Almost as hard as these. The quarterbacks, the top 5 were pretty. They came right out. It only started to get more difficult when we got to the mid tier, I guess you could say.
So who do we have? Number 9, number 10, Trevor Lawrence, and then Geno.
Justin Herbert, I thought.
No, we put Trevor Lawrence in there.
Oh yeah,
Trevor Lawrence,
and then Geno Smith. Geno Smith being 10 and Lawrence being 9, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, next week's going to be a fun one because everybody loves talking about their favorite running back. Got so many options to pick of. I mean, just off the top of the head, we got Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco. Like
Alvin Kamara. Oh my gosh, I hate this fucking thing.
Did I say Camaro?
You did, yeah.
Oh. Kamara.
This thing sucks, bro.
Not to mention Breece Hall, Cam Akers, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne Jr., Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift. And that's just the starters. You're not even talking about the backups. Raheem Mostert, Rashad Penny, Singletary, Ronald Jones II, Chase Edmonds, Tyler Algier, Jamal Williams, Jerick McKinnon, Deontay Foreman, Dave Montgomery. Like, it's gonna be exciting.
My
technical difficulties
thing is not working, so our list cannot be made technically.
You'll see it on screen here in a moment when he finishes writing it out, hand writing it out with our lovely Crayola purple marker here. Don't forget to buy Crayola. We're not sponsored. We don't have any sponsorships.
Yeah, we're not sponsored.
We're just kind of figuring this out as we go.
Yep. Thank you for stopping by for episode 1.
Chubb, number 1, your running back. Lamar, number 1 for you. All right.
Okay, yeah. So that kind of works out that we put him number 2.
Yeah, we got him right underneath Patrick. So, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is hot right now.
He's going to be fighting Patrick Mahomes for the MVP this year.
All season long, boy.
We're not doubting that. We're not doubting that.
You're going to be looking at both of them. They're gonna put up some numbers on a lot of people. They're going to upset a lot of defenses.
Especially now that he's got OBJ to throw to out there.
Lamar Jackson always needed some weapons, you know what I mean? Like, he himself as a weapon, but one man can only do so much, you know?
Do so much.
Even looking at Patrick Mahomes, he needed weapons. He needed a Tyreek Hill. He needed a Kelsey, a Travis Kelsey. He needed somebody big that could go down there and get up into the air and catch whatever the fuck he threw at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't even like his passing needed to be all that good. Like, it was. He was on point with all his targets, but it didn't have to be. Travis was big enough to go out there and make the catch. Just get it down, get it fielded. And they were smart as far as how to play the game, how to roll with the timing, when to call the timeouts, when to stretch the play and burn that clock up. Because that's what it really comes down to. Playing the game is great, scoring is great, but clock management, that'll win you the game.
I'll tell you what's hard. Talking about football in front of a camera.
For
so much more
2
natural
hours.
outside of, like, just having a natural football conversation is so much natural, but, like, it is way more different talking into a camera.
Yeah, drawing it right out to you and telling you guys. All right, so here's our list. We'll just wait for it to pop up there so we can say it. All right, we got Patrick Mahomes at number 1, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa,
Tua Tagovailoa.
Trevor Lawrence, and then Geno Smith rounding out the top 10. If you guys any questions, concerns, you think somebody we missed that needs to be up there, just give us a shout. Like I said, leave it in the comments.
We'll be posting all these videos on YouTube as well. Let me give you a shout out real quick.
Thank you, Walker Slayer 87.
Let me give you a shout out real quick because we might not always stream from Cat in the Hat. We might stream from Mush Show Face's account once in a while.
Yeah, so we'll go back and forth. Might even do them both at the same time one time.
Yeah.
We just wanted to make sure that this was going to work out well.
Yeah, definitely.
Hit that one in the chat right there is my personal stream that I'll be on. I play a lot of Call of Duty and stuff, but we'll also be talking sports and getting hyped up for this year's season.
So who's your team? Who's your team, Slayer?
Obviously, we got a New York fan here. We got a Dolph fan here. Walker Slayer is a Falcons fan. Atlanta.
I could have guessed with how much he was talking about the Falcons.
Yeah, how he knew a lot about
Desmond
them.
Ritter and you knew Bijan Robinson. Yeah, I kind of figured. I just wanted to get the clarification.
Well, we wish you guys the best of luck. Falcons got a tough season coming up for them, so.
Yeah. But we appreciate everybody stopping by, hanging out. Make sure you hit that follow. Look for us next week. We're going to be working on how to make it better for you guys. So if you got any suggestions, go ahead. Definitely hit us up in the chat off screen. You can hit me up in the Discord for suggestions. Or you can go and hit us up on our YouTube. When we post the videos on YouTube, you can throw comments in there and suggestions and stuff. Any kind of suggestions help, man.
Absolutely. We're just trying to learn this stuff and figure out a way to have a little fun and keep you guys out there informed.
For the Discord, it won't let you click on the link, is what you're saying? Or for his Twitch?
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Ruh-roh, Raggy. I can fix the Discord link right now. Oh, the Mush Show Face, it won't let you click on it? Ads, that's why, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see it. Okay,
no worries. Nick Chubb as a number 1 running back, I think is a smart choice this year, though. I think it is going to be a good choice. It depends on where you get your pick. Like, if you get him outside of top 5, then yeah, like, go ahead and take him. But I don't know if I could take him if I was in the top 5. I mean, he is going to be very valuable this year, but they're going to go more pass heavy because of Deshaun Watson, so it's going to take away from a lot of Chubb's carries. I believe it's going to take away from Chubb a lot as far as the run game goes. But we'll get into that next week. We'll definitely get into that next week when we cover running backs.
I haven't looked at these in a while. Well, all that being said, I'm Musho Face.
Cat in the Hat here. These are the AFC EASTIE boys. AFC EASTIE boys. Yeah, appreciate it, Walker Slayer. You guys have a great day. You guys have a wonderful weekend.
Appreciate the follow, my man. You have a great one. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace out, everybody.